Thank you, Mr Chairman. I rise to take a call on the committee stage. It's a 5-minute debate. A number of speakers have already referred to Leanne Dalziel, or should I say the Honourable Leanne Dalziel's part in this speech. And in fact, I think in one 10-minute speech there were 13 references to Leanne Dalziel, which is a fair few. But of course, the reason for that is the Honourable Leanne Dalziel had a lot to do with this legislation, and given the importance of her role, I should make it clear that that's Leanne Dalziel, Leanne with 2 N's. It can be spelt with 1, not the other version of Leanne Dalziel. And in fact, in this debate, we've had and an I, not an E, in Leanne Dalziel. And of course, in this debate, we've heard various mispronunciations of Leanne Dalziel's surname. Some people say Leanne Dalziel, as in Zell, and other people say Leanne Dalziel. Now, the Honourable Leanne Dalziel says that it should be Leanne Dalziel, but in the context of this debate and the zeal that Leanne Dalziel has shown for this bill, I think it should be Leanne Dalziel rather than Leanne Dalziel. Now, in response, my questions would, of course, be going to Leanne Dalziel, or Leanne Dalziel, in the chair had she still been the minister. But of course, because of the change of government after this bill was introduced, Leanne Dalziel is no longer the minister, and so my questions have to be addressed in her substitution to the Honourable Rodney Hyde, who has already acknowledged the important contribution that Leanne Dalziel had to this legislation. So, Mr Speaker, I will deal with a couple of matters that Leanne Dalziel has already touched upon, but the first relates to the changes to the Conservation Act. I think the Honourable Rodney Hyde made some important points in response to my colleague from the Greens in respect of the changes there, and he did make it clear that these changes to the Conservation Act do not impact upon mining in national parks or other Schedule 4 areas, and indeed if they were to make it easier for those mining operations, I'm sure that the Honourable Leanne Dalziel would not have included it in this bill, and in the Labour Party we would not be supporting those changes. But that is not the effect of these changes, and they are not of the import that Kevin Haigh suggested to the House, and I think Rodney Hyde has dealt with that appropriately. The other change the Honourable Leanne Dalziel made reference to earlier was in respect of the Designs Act 1953, and this is an example of how some regulation can be a little silly and is now being fixed. At the moment, the Commissioner can't extend the period of copyright for a registered design because of the failure of someone to pay a registration fee or a prescribed fee by a certain time, and this legislation just makes it clear that they can. There are various other improvements that are brought about by this legislation. Thank you, Minister, for the clarification that the changes to the rules relating to hazardous substances and new organisms do not impact upon the controversial area of genetically modified organisms, and that line, I think, was drawn carefully by the former Minister, the Honourable Leanne Dalziel. Mr Chairman, other changes include changes to the Companies Act to align obligations to appoint auditors under the Companies Act with those that recent changes to the Financial Reporting Act. This impacts particularly upon overseas ownership, and there was a silly requirement which is clarified or fixed by this regulatory improvement bill, which can provide that these companies may, via unanimous resolution of shareholders, elect not to appoint an auditor, which is also the norm in respect of companies that aren't overseas owned. Mr Chairman, I think that must be my 5 minutes and more than 13. Thank you.
Chair.